How you doing, baby? No, not you. The bow lady one. Yeah. What's your name? Damn, baby.
Dear Assad, I heard you are a quote-unquote aspiring YouTuber that desperately needs any advantage he can get. So with my new movie on the way, I thought it would be a great opportunity to ride my coattails of fame. To review my quote-unquote flawless gaming outing, and you better not screw it up, dickwad. Yours awesomely, Deadpool. P.S. I tried to raid your fridge last night, but slipped on the ice you dropped. Seriously, get that sorted. Guess I'm reviewing this then. So, Deadpool, the merc with the mouth, the hipster's best friend, the morally ambiguous protagonist who is a favourite of all those that don't care whether a character's good or evil. Or, well, at least he was before Harley Quinn got her own comic. So, I don't need to go into backstory or lore about him, but if you're interested, just look it up for yourself. As usual, I'll be going into the story, gameplay, other things before giving my final thoughts. One day in Deadpool's apartment, Deadpool wants a game to be made about him, so he asks the developers of this game, High Moon Studios, if they can make a game about him. At first they say no, but they eventually change their mind after Deadpool blows the crap out of their offices, getting to realise that if he blows the crap out of their offices, they don't have anything to make the game with. But there's no time for that, it's time to wander around doing random stuff in Deadpool's house, like inflating a blow-up doll that appears throughout the game, petting Deadpool's dog, who also appears throughout the game, but doesn't really contribute to the plot, making a possible Metal Gear Solid 5 reference, taking a dump, baking a ludicrous amount of pancakes for no reason, and calling up Deadpool's voice actor for this game, Nolan North, to get him to voice act Deadpool in this game. You may know Nolan North as the voice from Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and about a billion other things. Eventually, this attractive girl, which again appears throughout the game, gives Deadpool the script, which he decides not to read and just heads off on his merry way.
Do I? Yoink! Package! Edit that.
Ah, crayons. Very classy.
Why are we trying to kill what's-his-face? Who cares? I'm making art here. Behold!
His first task, taking out a rich, corrupt person in a massive building with his own private protection force. Oh no. Must resist obvious reference. Must resist political... Thank goodness. I must say I don't want to talk about him again. However, since Deadpool isn't Spider-Man, he can't just climb up the building. So instead he fights his way up through the building, past the security guards. Eventually he gets to the top, where he both throws himself and the greedy bastard out the window, only to land on a trampoline in the sewer that Deadpool set up earlier. But the greedy guy is kidnapped and killed by the main villain of this game, Mr. Sinister. I am not making him up, he's an actual comic book villain. Along with his army of clones and D-list villains that no one cares about that will basically be your enemies for the game. So Deadpool decides to fly with the island with a bunch of X-Men who also want to stop Mr. Sinister, including Wolverine, Rogue, Psylocke and some other woman whose name I've forgotten. And if you don't know who they are, don't worry, a prompt will appear, and if you press the button at the right time, you get a brief synopsis on who they are from Deadpool's point of view. However, they don't really do much, since Deadpool crashes the plane and knocks them all unconscious. After a while, Deadpool bumps into an old friend of his, Cable, a time-travelling guy who doesn't really do much in the game except tell you what to do and occasionally shoot a couple of people. But luckily, with his help, you find Mr. Sinister and kill him. Game over, right? Wrong! Nope, turns out it was just a clone. But thankfully you find an old Sentinel's foot that's just lying around. For a random reason it turns into a hot tub with a woman and a blow-up doll in it. And decides to use it to fly to where Mr. Sinister is being held up in Magneto's old fortress that he abandoned. Unfortunately, Deadpool crashes the flying foot into a now conscious Rogue, who causes her to get captured and Deadpool to fall apart and get one of his arms briefly nicked by his pet dog that's somehow there. So Deadpool decides to try and save Rogue for his own reasons, of course. So eventually he sees where Rogue is being held up after traipsing through a sewer. Yeah. And kills Mr. Sinister for real this time. Right? No, just another clone. Seriously, what's it with this guy and clones? So anyway, Deadpool saves Rogue only to get blown up by his dog again after trying to fetch one of his grenades that he threw. Don't worry, no dogs were harmed in the making of this game. Something that Deadpool makes quite clear. So Deadpool ends up falling into a catacomb where he bumps into Death, who is a woman and also Deadpool's on-again, off-again girlfriend. And she asks him to free a load of mutant souls who are apparently in torment because Lord Sinister's using their body parts to make his clones. And after completing that task, Death decides to just leave Deadpool. So he makes his way to the surface where he bumps into Wolverine and the other X-Men who are also conscious now, but then decides to abandon them because he wants to take all the glory for himself. Deadpool sets off on his way to Mr. Sinister's new headquarters. And after fighting a bunch of random enemies and bosses you fought before, you finally get the final climactic against Mr. Sinister's army of clones of himself. Jeez, what is this? The Clone Saga? After defeating all his army of body doubles, he finally comes out monologuing and taking out a couple of the X-Men on the way who managed to catch up, only for him to die via the Monty Python treatment. Yep, kinda like that. The best way to describe this game's gameplay is it's a hack and slash with a bit of third-person shooter thrown in there. And while it isn't quite as fluid as, say, God of War or Bayonetta, it's still pretty fun. Except when I have to deal with those goddamn floaty men! Basically, you grab points, you buy weapons, you buy upgrades for your weapons, you buy upgrades for Deadpool himself, and while there are issues with the game, most of them are very minor. With the exception of two that stick out like a Brazilian carnival in Swindon. One of the issues is its length. I managed to beat the thing within a day and still had time to spare. But you know what they say, it's not the length that matters, it's how much you can laugh at it. Another issue is the boss fights. They're just so lacking and underwhelming. You basically just run up to each one and either shoot or stab them or occasionally perform a quick time event. Why couldn't the bosses have been more like, say, the Arkham series or something with imagination? But oh well, I think I've talked about all I can, so moving on to the next subject. The controls are the usual. Jump, dodge, light attack, heavy attack, you know, this sort of things. The issue is I occasionally got the R1 and R2 mixed up and ended up dropping grenades when I shouldn't have. Whoops. Oh, and this button, the L1, can pretty much be summed up as do a thing button. The graphics are okay, although they were originally for a game on the lower platform, but they still upload today. The problem is the music is forgettable, just sort of white noise in the background and not really memorable like, say, the the shoop from the movie. Did somebody say the magic words? Wait, didn't I kill you? Yes, but Deadpool liked me so much in your Batman Arkham videos that he injected me with some of his own blood and now I can't die. Lucky I came prepared. What the hell was that for? I'm giving you an old-fashioned analogue poking. Seriously, you've gotten so unoriginal that you're now stealing jokes from Bill Bailey. This channel's gone down since Brataka Dunce Bollywood. I am not putting up with this farce anymore. Good day, sir. Well, that was a bit anticlimactic. The game suffers from the same issues that the movie do. Everything that Deadpool does and surrounding Deadpool makes it good. But without him it would basically be bland and forgettable. Is it flawed? Yeah. But does that stop me from enjoying it? No, not at all. But the big question is, how am I going to top this for my next episode?